It's a strange thing, isn't it? We're always told that having a high EQ, high emotional intelligence, is the key to connecting with people. But have you ever noticed that some of the most perceptive people, the ones who can read a room in a heartbeat, often seem to be the most alone? It's this weird paradox, and today we're going to get right into it. We're going to explore why that superpower that's supposed to build bridges can sometimes feel like it's building walls instead. Oh man, I think we've all felt this. You're at a party, cornered, and the small talk just completely flatlines. It is just agonizing. If that little scene feels painfully familiar, then you are absolutely in the right place. Because it turns out that feeling isn't a sign that you're just bad at parties. Nope. It's actually a clue that your brain is wired for something much, much deeper. All right, so let's start with what we think we know. We'll call this section the EQ superpower, the myth we all believe. For years, we've been told that emotional intelligence is basically the ultimate social cheat code. But what if that's not the whole story? So just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's nail down the definition. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is this amazing ability to get a handle on your own emotions and, at the same time, recognize and respond to what others are feeling. In theory, it's the absolute foundation of human connection. And this is why we hear so much about it, right? I mean, look at this list of benefits. We're promised stronger relationships because you just get people. You're a better communicator, you can handle conflict, you're a natural leader. You can just glide through any social setting feeling totally comfortable. It's basically sold as the ultimate toolkit for social success. Sounds pretty perfect, doesn't it? But, and this is a big but, here's where the narrative takes a really sharp turn. Because for a lot of people, this supposed superpower comes with a hidden cost, a really painful one. So let's get into the paradox of perception. And here it is. This is the central question we're tackling today. If you're so good at understanding everyone else, at sensing their moods, their needs, their unspoken feelings, why does it so often leave you feeling completely and totally misunderstood? Okay, check this out, because this table really breaks it down. It's like there are two different operating systems running. On the left, you've got normative social processing. The goal here is simple. Just keep things smooth, follow the script. How are you? Fine. You? It's easy, low energy. But then look at the right side, the high EQ brain. Its goal isn't just to be smooth. It's hunting for authenticity, for meaning. It's picking up on the tone of voice, the body language, all the stuff that's not being said. And look at the energy impact. High metabolic cost, exhausting. It literally burns more fuel. So we've got this fundamental mismatch in processing. But let's get even more specific. There are basically 4 core reasons why people who feel things this deeply often end up isolating themselves. And reason number 1 is exactly what we just touched on, the high metabolic cost of small talk. For a brain that's built for complexity and depth, trying to stick to superficial topics isn't just boring, it's genuinely physically draining. It's like you've got a supercomputer and you're only allowed to use it to play tic-tac-toe. It's a waste of resources and it just feels bad. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The small talk is the cardboard. It fills the space, but it has zero nutritional value. And your brain knows there's a real meal, a real conversation full of ideas and connection right there, and you're not getting it. That discrepancy is what makes it feel almost physically uncomfortable. Okay, on to reason number 2, and this one is fascinating. I call it psychological X-ray vision. It's this involuntary ability to see straight through people's social masks. You're not trying to, it just happens. So here's the problem. You see that gap. You hear someone say they're great, but you can feel the anxiety radiating off them. You see the forced smile. But the unwritten social rule is that you have to pretend you don't see it. You have to play along with the surface story. And constantly ignoring your own accurate perceptions is just exhausting. It feels deeply inauthentic. Which brings us to number 3, the empathy paradox. This is all about the emotional labor. It's this feeling of being on a one-way street where you're constantly extending this deep, nuanced understanding to everyone else, but you feel like nobody can really do the same for you. And what does that lead to? Well, it leads to something called empathy fatigue. And it feels like this just total emotional overwhelm. You might get cynical, or you might just withdraw from people to stop the constant flood of emotional data. You become the go-to emotional provider for everyone, which is a fast track to burnout. You can even start to lose track of which feelings are yours and which ones you've absorbed from others. And finally, reason number 4. This one might actually surprise you. It's that people with high EQ can sometimes fail socially, not because they lack the skill, but because they choke under pressure. The very desire to connect deeply creates this performance anxiety that ends up sabotaging the whole thing. You can see exactly how this vicious cycle works. It starts with a really strong desire to connect. This conversation matters. That creates pressure. So your brain goes on high alert, scanning for any tiny sign of rejection. But then you get so busy monitoring your own performance, did I say that right? Was that weird? That you get distracted, you choke, and the interaction feels awkward. And then your brain goes, see, I knew it. I can't connect. Okay, so that's the why. I know it can sound a little bleak, but I promise the good news is coming. There is absolutely a path forward. And it's not about fixing yourself. It's about building a life that actually honors the way you're wired. Now this right here is probably the most powerful mental shift you can make. It's learning the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is that painful feeling of a gap, of something missing. It drains you. But solitude, that's something you choose. It's intentional time to restore and recharge. For a highly perceptive person, solitude isn't a social failure, it is a vital necessity. So, how do we actually do this? Well, first, you've got to stop trying to be popular and start looking for wavelength connections, those one or two people who just get you. You have to reframe your sensitivity. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Learn to craft your solitude so it recharges you. And this is huge. Set firm boundaries to protect your social energy. It is not an infinite resource. Treat it like one. And let's just let this sink in for a second. Your struggle with small talk isn't a weakness. It's a sign that you value substance over fluff. The answer isn't to shrink yourself down to fit into smaller conversations. Your willingness and your ability to go deep is a gift. And honestly, it's what the world desperately needs more of. So we'll end with this thought. That incredible perception you have, that high EQ, it truly is a gift. It only feels like a burden when you don't understand how to manage it. The real journey isn't about learning to feel less or see less. It's about learning to use what you see with wisdom. The path out of loneliness isn't about changing who you are. It's about having the courage to finally, fully be yourself.